So, as you guys know, the Draymond Green Rudy Gobert brawl, where Draymond took this guy by the neck, choked him out at midcourt, has gotten all the headlines the past couple of days. And this overall fight, this brawl, it sparked many debates about Draymond, his suspension, his dirty history, and his overall decline as an NBA player. But the thing that fascinated me the most, that kind of went under the radar, was Rudy Gobert telling the truth about Draymond as a player. And what Rudy said, the average NBA fan already knew. And that's that Green, without Steph Curry, gets cold feet and quite literally does whatever he can to get thrown out of the game. And Steph, for the past decade for Draymond, he's been this guy's meal ticket in numerous finals, as well as championships. And Draymond's overall prestige, his resume, it's been just boosted into the stratosphere because of Steph Curry. And look, at the same time I can realize, Draymond as an actual NBA player in his prime was a very effective player. With that being said, you can't convince me now, 5 years ago, or 10 years from now, that Draymond minus Steph Curry minus the Warriors system wouldn't be more than a glorified Grant Williams or a Marcus Smart. A guy who does the dirty work, can't really score, can't really shoot, but is very high energy and a pretty decent leader. I mean, put this guy in Detroit, Sacramento, Orlando. If he was drafted to those teams, I think this guy right now would be out of the NBA. As playing alongside Klay Thompson, Steph Curry, two of the greatest shooters in NBA history, and also two of the more mild-mannered reserve stars. That allowed Draymond Green to exceed all expectations. And again, put him in Sacramento, Detroit, and this guy doesn't sniff being a Hall of Famer or an all-star level player. And Draymond's overall career, quite literally, is a testament to Steph Curry and how great he is on the offensive end. As him winning 4 championships, making numerous finals, with a guy like Draymond on the offensive end, it is remarkable. As Green for his career in the playoffs, shoots 30% from deep, and post-2017, only 24%. Steph's overall gravity of the Warriors system, that allowed Draymond Green to be a liability on the offensive end. I mean, think about your favorite team right now. Mine's the Boston Celtics. Is there any player on your roster who gets significant minutes, who shoots 25% from 3? I can't think of a single player. Again, showing someone like Steph Curry, the system that he is was perfect for Draymond despite his offensive flaws. And look, I am taking a dump on Draymond, I'm not going to deny that. When it comes down to it, you still gotta have respect for the player who did win 4 championships with the Golden State dynasty. My overall point though, is Draymond's greatness, his resume, that shouldn't be questioned. But the individual player, who this guy is as an individual, I think that realistically should be questioned. As not one time in his career was he a top tier star, top 10, top 15, at that type level. And even at his peak, he was just so flawed offensively. I mean, look at that first Warriors championship in 2015. Draymond in the finals was 4th on the team in scoring at 13 points. 38% from the field, nearly 25% from 3, and below 75% from the free throw line. And defensively in that series, he wasn't even the Golden State Warriors' best defender. That was Andre Iguodala, who won Finals MVP, guarding LeBron James. And of course, 2016, he played much better in the finals, but in Game 5 cost his team the championship, getting suspended, getting a technical, and like many times before, blowing his lid and losing his cool. And if you want to talk the 2019 Warriors, Draymond again potentially ruined a dynasty and a chance for a three-peat. As versus the Clippers, he told KD quite literally, "We don't need you." So Draymond, not once but twice, has cost his team championships and the potential to win more titles in the future. I just don't know a single role player so flawed offensively, mouths off constantly as a dirty player, who gets the prestige and overall honor of someone like Draymond. I mean, even look at 2022, his last championship in Golden State. In those finals, he was god-awful and a liability on both ends of the floor. As the series, he averaged 6.2 points per game, Hall of Fame worthy, 33% from the field, 12% from 3 and 58% from the free throw line. And to start the series, Draymond missed his first 12 attempts from beyond the 3-point line. Again, this guy is an offensive player. Steph Curry hides nearly all of his flaws. And probably the most embarrassing stat from that series, Draymond on average committed 4.2 fouls per game. For the series average, he only made 2.3 field goals in every game. Think about that. Twice as many fouls as actual made shots. And the crucial moments of this series, Game 4 and Game 5, he was benched in the fourth quarter because in this series, he was a glorified one-way player. And look, when it comes to KD Warriors, of course, you guys already know, I think Draymond 100% pushed Kevin Durant out the door a little prematurely. And of course, with Jordan Poole, not the player Kevin Durant was, but the exact same thing. Him sucker punching Poole, that in essence ruined the team's chemistry and their overall discipline. And for Draymond, he wasn't some 25-year-old fresh rookie who had no experience. He was pushing 35 years old, had been to the finals, won championships, and supposedly was a veteran leader. Attacking a teammate like that, sucker punching them off guard, that destroys a team's chemistry and the overall trust in said player. And look, Jordan Poole isn't a perfect player. His game's actually just kind of embarrassing to watch, and in Washington, he's been super underwhelming. But Jordan Poole in that moment and past that was done dirty by the Golden State Warriors. And even 6 months, 8 months after that, when Poole was in Washington, Draymond still was slandering this guy and throwing shit at him constantly. And as bad as I think Jordan Poole is, Golden State taking Draymond's side, taking him over Poole, in hindsight I think was a massive mistake. And for someone like Poole, a heat check role player off the bench, kind of in the vein of a Lou Williams, Jamal Crawford, him being in Golden State was perfect for him. He could go crazy with the second unit, chuck his shots up, and really be fine. I mean, I'm just going to say it, Steph Curry in all this scenario just comes out looking even better. Because despite this chaos, the Draymond technicals, the fights, Steph is still just mild-mannered, keep going, keep winning, keep knocking down threes. And I think for a lot of fans, it kind of is a weird conundrum because Steph is so beloved, so liked, but someone like Draymond is just so abrasive, unlikable. There's that weird dynamic, you want the Warriors to win on one hand, but on the other hand, you really don't. And like I said earlier in the video, Rudy Gobert, he spoke 100% facts about Draymond the player without Steph Curry. And it is kind of ironic, Charles Barkley back in 2020 was way ahead of the curve. As Charles said, Draymond, minus his superstar teammates, his boys, he isn't nearly as bold and nearly as brash. Charles Barkley, per usual, is on point 1000%. And Draymond's overall response to Chuck showed this guy is so delusional, out of his element, and sniffing his own farts. As Draymond vs. Barkley the player, Charles Barkley in his prime would destroy any version of Draymond. I mean, this dude was an MVP, top 5 player, the round mountain of rebound. Draymond Green was the fourth wheel on a tricycle. Trying to conflate him and Chuck, taking shots at Barkley for having no championships, is complete delusion. If you're Shaquille O'Neal, a superstar player, also an MVP, yes, you can talk trash to Barkley because as players, you were almost equals. But Draymond and Chuck, it's like a G League bench player talking to an NBA starter. You're not on the same level and you're not in the same debate or conversation. And back when Barkley had these comments, Draymond had this beef with him, it was actually in 2020 when Golden State had no Klay Thompson, no KD, and no Steph. That year in 2020, Draymond could have showed how good he was as an individual player. But what he actually showed is on 29 other teams, he'd be irrelevant. As in 2020, he averaged 8 points per game, Hall of Fame worthy, below 40% from the field, below 30% from deep, and a 10-33 record. And if you look at the advanced metrics on this, Draymond's overall impact was nowhere to be found. As per 100 possessions, the Warriors, with him on the court, were minus 7.1. Compared when he was off the court, actually, they were better at plus 2.1. I'm glad this overall situation kind of exposed Draymond, and someone like Rudy Gobert finally called him out. And the last thing I do want to say, the big bad Draymond puffing his chest out, talking trash versus everyone. Where is that same smoke, that same energy versus the Lakers in last year's playoffs? Because what I saw in that series was a guy named Draymond who was kind of fawning over LeBron James like a little schoolgirl. And for that series, he was 100% nerfed as a player and as a competitor. And kind of the cherry on top of this crap sandwich, that Draymond in 2027, at the age of 37, is making north of $25 million per year. An insane salary, an insane number on a guy who's a walking triple single. So, as always, thank you guys for watching. Hope you enjoyed it. I'll see you next time.